Welcome back to the show, everybody. We got a great one lined up for you today. Casino Coin looks to expand on exchanges. Something must be going on there. Updates on a recent filings in motion for the SEC and Ripple. All the stuff you need to know, and there's a lot happening, so we need to catch up on that. And guess what? The BIS, the Bank of International Settlements, delivers a massive call to action to central banks, and it's about CBDs, baby. Yeah, and how about XRP price? We're going to hear from one analyst, Dark Defender, who tells us what's in front of us, and we heard from CoinsKid yesterday, and I can't believe how much they actually align. It is pretty incredible what's going on. Let's roll that beautiful intro.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradleyAbove, and everything that we're talking about here today. $2.077 trillion for the cryptocurrency market space. You can see we're off by 0.73% this morning. So look, there's a little bit of sell-off. There's a little bit of money that's left the space, right? Bitcoin right now at 45,000 plus, Ethereum at 3,200 plus, Cardano 269, actually up 8.58% on the 24-hour. XRP barely up this morning on the 24-hour, still off by 13.80% on the 7-day. We're sitting at $1.09, which has been a huge support line for us. We've been back testing that for a while now, at least a couple days. So we will keep an eye on that, and we will hear from Dark Defender today. We heard from CoinsKid yesterday, who tells us we're on the road to $4.50 plus. And you know what? If we get the fundamental news from the case settlement, any kind of summary judgment or anything going on there, end of the year or slightly after, we could see XRP blow through the 8, 13, and $20 plus targets. Now that's pretty remarkable, and we'll hear from Dark Defender in just a few minutes. But looking at this right now, the low end of the XRP price range 103.78, the upper end of the price range at 110.11. We will keep an eye on that as we move forward through the weekend. This is Daniel from Casino Coin. Shout out to you, my friend. He says, blow it up, Casino Coin. Here's CoinSquare asking for you to fill out a request form, which takes about 4 seconds. I'm not kidding. Literally 4 seconds. Now, you guys know I've told you plenty, on the show that I hold Casino Coin. I am not working with Casino Coin in any way. I'm not an ambassador or anything like that, but I'm a fan of it. And I'm a fan of it because my family is very big in the gambling and casinos, and more so than even myself. But I know that their love for casinos and gambling is very real, and many other people around the world. And that's why I'm excited about what they're doing with Casino Coin. So if you are inclined, go click on this and take the 4 seconds to just type in Casino Coin as a request to be placed on CoinSquare. Looking right here, plus I know Daniel's got some things in the works now. This guy goes shoulder to the grindstone. Believe that, believe you me. He's going to have some great things to announce once they're ready. James K. Filan, let's shift gears and get right to the latest information on the Ripple SEC lawsuit here. The SEC filed a one-page further response regarding the now moot motion to compel regarding the recordings of Ripple's meetings. Now, we know that some of these have been already submitted to the judge, and we know that some of those have been blacked out and redacted. In fact, I think I even have that here. Yep, here's something right here. So just again, and shout out to James K. Filan for all of this stuff. This guy is amazing. And all of these attorneys in this space that keep us informed. I mean, they don't have to do any of this. And the fact that they do is I'm very grateful for. Looking right here, they add on to this notion that the SEC has filed an objection to the Ripple's motion to seal documents in connection with the recordings of various Ripple meetings. Ripple's motion to seal has already been granted on an interim basis, and they show these documents here, and it really doesn't bring any value for me to read through them up to the redacted points or thereafter. It's just that the SEC believes they should be able to see every single thing, and we will find out how that goes moving forward for sure. But the latest bombshell admission is by the SEC, and it's not over yet, so stay with me. If you think you've got all of it here, you haven't yet. Regarding the latest bombshell admission by the SEC by stating they refuse to clarify XRP's legal status before litigation, before they filed the lawsuit. So for 7 years, they had to admit, now it's admissible evidence, that the SEC did not notify any third parties that XRP was a security. They have effectively played into the hands of the fair notice defense by conceding no fair notice was given. And this is exactly what we've been saying since we found that news out. And then this is something to behold too. And I tell you, again, shout out to all the attorneys who help us stay informed on this space, and especially John Deaton, who is carrying the torch for so many XRP investors. This is another devastating blow here to the SEC as well. Remember, the SEC's complaint and the lawsuit is actually going after the idea that XRP, the asset, is a security, and not just that the sales are unregistered securities. And it's very important for all of us to understand that foundational point of the lawsuit itself. So looking at this, look at this. The admission bolsters that XRP holders' request to participate in the case against Ripple and XRP, which is the filing and the motion to intervene from John Deaton, and I believe it's 17,000 plus different XRP investors involved in that right now. Both Ripple and the SEC admit that Ripple owes no fiduciary duty to XRP holders. Thus, we must be allowed to represent ourselves and protect our own interests. Look at this. Subject to all the foregoing objections and based on the information currently known, the Commission admits that Ripple does not owe fiduciary duties to holders of XRP. How about that one? The Commission denies the remainder of this request. Think of that for a moment. Based on the information currently known, the Commission admits that Ripple does not owe fiduciary duties to holders of XRP. The Commission denies the remainder of this request, which the request admission of number 69 here, admit that Ripple owes fiduciary and other duties to holders of common stock of Ripple. Answer, in addition to the foregoing objections, the Commission objects that this request is improperly compound, is vague as to the term other duties, and calls for legal conclusion. Subject to all foregoing objection and based on the information currently known, the Commission admits this request. Look, I mean, this is massive here. For one, just like John Deaton says, this gives them the right to really intervene because no one's representing the interest here, and it really separates Ripple, the blockchain infrastructure company, from us as XRP holders, and that is fantastic to me. I can tell you that. Looking right here, I think Seal says it best. Attorney Seal right here says still 100% relevant. Take a look at this. Dash 10 transactions per second, Bitcoin 16, Ethereum 16, Bitcoin Cash 24, Litecoin 56, XRP 1500. Any questions? I want you to think of that for a moment and think about where we are and the fact that we're being sued by the SEC. I look at this and the first thing I see is however this shakes out, the financial world, I don't care how this may sound coming off, cannot afford to shoot the golden goose in the foot. It's their answer. We just had a global pandemic, which we're really still in the tail end of, I hope. I hope we're coming out of it. But the reality here for me is when I see this, I say, when you've had a global shutdown of the economy, you need to reignite that economy. And paper friction ain't the way to do it, baby. You need the velocity of money in that formula. And you need it in a way that the world has never experienced it, which means instant settlement, not just instant messaging, not just instant payment, instant settlement. And the way to do that is with the world's best XRP ledger, the decentralized exchange for all the money. And that's what we're looking at right there as a reminder. Now, here's another reminder. From Benjamin Pimentel, excuse me if I messed your name up, Ben, but this is a great point. Today's Protocol FinTech newsletter looks at the possible Coinbase Ripple united front versus the SEC. Says not surprising from Stephen Diamond, especially when regulators are paying close attention, but attacks on the SEC are unusual. Unusual or warranted? I think it's the latter. And it would be good for them to relist. I think it was Mr. B said it on Twitter, and I certainly agree and have said it myself. I think Coinbase should relist XRP. I've been making the point here on this channel for a long time now that, Gary Gensler and the SEC, and obviously Jay Clayton as well, see the majority of the assets in this space as digital asset securities, regardless of whether they're ICOs or not. That's how they see it. So that means, broadly, the SEC probably feels that Coinbase is in default with a lot of what they have on their platform. Well, with that being in mind, what's the harm of having one more on the table and offering, right? I think, to me, that this is the best thing to do. And to that point also, Jeremy Hogan made the point earlier, and I had to tweet, but it accidentally got pulled down, not from him, but from me in my news flow here. But he made the point that it's only 10 to 20% more in legal fees to argue more than one point to your case. So it's really an affordable reason to adopt relisting XRP and then launching your lending platform, because it really doesn't cost that much more to argue both issues. How about that one? Shout out to Jeremy Hogan, man. This is massive from Gold Telegraph here, and this is really big. I think this speaks to a large call to action. I remind you before we get into this news, Binance, the largest crypto exchange in the world, not Binance US. Remember, Binance US was birthed on the notion that Binance couldn't serve US residents anymore. Binance Malta, let's call it, has really been rejected in many, many countries in Europe, Africa, and other places now, Singapore to be one of the most recent, that it is not licensed to operate in all of those countries. Do you find it mutually exclusive that Binance is in the crosshairs being the largest crypto exchange of the world? Do you find it mutually exclusive that Brad Garlinghouse and Danelle Dixon are authors and co-authors of the World Economic Forum calling for international cooperation to bring a uniform approach internationally to crypto assets? I do not. Do you find it mutually exclusive that the SEC, Gary Gensler, here in the United States is going after exchanges? Isn't that clear? He's made it abundantly clear, way more clear than whatever their framework or understanding is for what these assets actually are. That's for sure. They're going after where you get it. Jeremy Hogan made the point the other day when we were talking in the Link To conference, and he made a great point there that when they confiscated gold, they didn't bring armies and guards to our houses. They went to the dealers. That's where it is. That's where your bottleneck is, right? That's where that is. So I don't find any of this mutually exclusive, that I see a global effort now, not just in the US, to bring a uniformed approach to cryptocurrency so there can be no safe haven for a company to go somewhere else. The question is will the end result of this look like the space that we have now, or will it look more like the conventional securities market that we see with the regulatory framework for dealer brokers around the world? And to add to that notion, how do we cash out on these things? When we want to get our money, how do we cash out? Well, I'll tell you how you cash out. I'll tell you how they want us to cash out. They, being the central banks and the governments of the world, want you to use their dollars. Now, we know that there's been many tests about CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, be it wholesale back end or even retail front end use, integrating with the citizens of their nations and tourists and things of that nature. There's been many different pilot phases that have already been launched. But what we see here from the central bank of central banks, the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements, listen what they say in this short article here, and it is to the point. And it is absolutely a massive call to action here. Major central banks should press ahead now with digital currency projects to avoid falling behind comparable private sector payment initiatives that are already taking root. A Bank of International Settlements official said on Friday, that was yesterday, corporate moves into digital payments, including Facebook with its Diem stablecoin, have accelerated since the pandemic, as have contactless card transactions, and central banks are falling behind big tech at a time when questions are even being asked about the future of cash in some countries. Listen to this. The time has passed for central banks to get going. This was Benoit Coyer, the former European Central Bank official who now is the head of the BIS Innovation Hub. And the BIS Innovation Hub, by the way, is the huge testing ground for the Federal Reserve and all the other major central banks around the world to really pilot these digital currencies, these central bank digital currencies. He says we should roll up our sleeves and accelerate our work with a nitty-gritty of CBDC digital currency design. CBDCs will take years to be rolled out, while stablecoins and crypto assets are already here. This makes it even more urgent to start, Coyer told a conference. Unlike a stablecoin whose price is pegged to a largely unregulated cryptocurrency, fiat money, or assets like exchange trade commodities, a CBDC is a digital version of existing notes and coins. Central banks in Europe, Britain, and the United States have been considering establishing CBDCs through only People's Bank of China has taken concrete steps by launching trials, which has created even more pressure on the other major countries of the world to get going. Coyer said the European Union was uniquely placed to face the future in that field by building on its fast, open payment system on a strong guarantees provided by its data protection rules. In July, European Central Bank report gave the go-ahead for design and possible launch of a digital version of the euro, a project that Coyer said could take 5 years. A CBDC's goal is ultimately to preserve the best elements of our current system while still allowing safe spaces for tomorrow's innovation, he said. Preserve the best elements of our current systems? Let me help you translate that one here. We need to do this to stay relevant and in power and in control. To do so, central banks have to act while the current system is still in place, and to act now. Now, what do you think about that for a call to action? Remember, the CBDCs, the digital dollars of the world, will become the on and off ramps to this digital world, which will not just be cryptocurrency. It will be everything. Remember, all the money. Everything at some point is going to get tokenized. Your vehicles, your homes, commercial property is already being tokenized as securities. Derivatives. All of which these things will sit in a wallet that you have that protects your identity and your portfolio, for which all of these assets will become fungible and exchangeable for goods and services and products that you need to buy, use throughout the day in a manner that you currently cannot. And it is true, and it is a fact, that if the BIS and other central banks and governments around the world want to remain relevant, they better act now. Let's take a look at XRP price right here, and it is Dark Defender on this day that is really aligning a lot with CoinsKid, and they have been. They've been on the same street for a long time, and I'm grateful for each one of them here. He says after his coffee shot here this morning, he's looking, and this is back in February 21, I believe this was. There's many different posts he has here, but they're all still very relevant, and that's what's important here. See the writing on the wall. The target on long scale within a month was $2, a year was $20, and we still consistent with that, with what we discussed, the road to 13 to $20. And you know what? CoinsKid has showed us as recently as yesterday the road of how we could blow back pass by 450, getting a new all-time high for XRP price. We know that Dark Defenders told us $6.39 is in our crosshairs, just the same way of going to 450 from CoinsKid. And then beyond that, if we get that fundamental news of a resolution to the case for SEC and Ripple, we could see it blow past that $13 mark that CoinsKid and Dark Defender have talked about right here, and into the 20 plus range. It's all right here on the table, and I think it really says it. What we have to remember is that the charts and tools that technical analysts use are leading indicators. They are not absolutes. And the reason we know that is because you can look at what the chart actually does over time. Impulsive, corrective, impulsive, corrective, impulsive, corrective, consolidate, impulsive, corrective, right? You see all of these things, right? Yeah, do I want it to go straight up to $20 and make a simple way of it? Yeah, damn right. Who doesn't? But that isn't the way the market has really ever moved, except occasionally. And you can see these spots where you see parabolic bursts that happen. And hey, maybe this is the next one to happen. But what I do know is that these gentlemen have provided us with a perspective through this bear market up until where we are today, which I feel we are in a bull market, or certainly a bull cycle. And I am really, really grateful for them and everybody else that I haven't talked about today, too, because there's so many others, too. Crypto Bull 2020, Crypto Toes, and so many others. Crypto Maniac 101. I could sit here and name a ton of them. And what I find interesting about all of them is that whether they're on the same exact driveway or whether they're just in the same neighborhood, these guys are on the same street. And whatever tools they're using, it is showing them the same thing, and they're reading the tea leaves to come out relatively the same way. And that, to me, is exciting when we combine the fundamental news that's in front of us, that the case just gets stronger and stronger for Ripple as we move forward. All right, make sure you hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment below, share with somebody you know, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Check out all the links in the description box and comment section. Listen to this, Ledger Nano, okay, Pure VPN. I mean, you think about it, Unstoppable Domains. There's so many products in the description and link box. I Trust Capital. The only thing better than buying crypto is buying tax-free crypto. But you got to click the links to get all the deals. That's where it is right there. I'll catch all of you on the next one.